you've stated in the past that user experience UX can't be an afterthought or a bolt-on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that in mind, do you think most software developers share this sentiment, or do you think there's still a lot of work to be done in that area?
That's a tough one. Do most software developers share that sentiment? I think the skill sets required to develop highly responsive, very usable web applications are limited. How many developers who did UX at uni in the field today? How many of them were taught about advanced design principles at university to the degree they needed today? There is a shortage in that area. So the developers make the best with the skill sets they have. They might be very good at security or performance or scalability. You know, these are principles that haven't changed over time fundamentally, but the design principles are going through a fundamental shift, and those skill sets are not available. So again, like my question on my answer about, do they build applications? Do they not think about the business of applications? No, it's just because they don't have enough time. With the design, it's they don't have the experience of those type of applications. We are only now coming of an age, really. You know, it's only been the last 3-4 years of the iPad, of the Android tablet, and I think for us it's about getting those understanding those principles, or using tools like OutSystems that would support those principles. OutSystems gives you, when I go back to horsepower, I'm talking about bringing those principles into your organizations through advanced technologies, having something to supplement that with you. You know, and good examples of that are companies like OutSystems, where we will support you with fundamental UX principles. Part of us is about not only designing good, it's beautiful applications that are used by the end user. So I think you need to think about the skills you have, and if you don't, what can you do to supplement them?
Now, I'd like to come in with a few more personal questions.
Please.
I mean, what is the hardest part of your current role, and what's the most rewarding?
So really, the hardest part of my role is people who don't believe what I'm saying. There is a level of, if it's too good to be true, we don't believe that you can do what you're saying, because we've seen the code generators of the 1990s. They were a flop. It's bloated, it doesn't perform, you can only build toy applications. And then I talked to them about some of our clients like Bacardi, like Nike, who are building some very complex enterprise applications, and they're still like, well, how do we know it's all done through OutSystems? And I have to set up a call. But it's allowing organizations to get their mindset from not having to write code. Using low code is acceptable because it can deliver what you can as well as you can, but what it can't do is it doesn't architect as well as a developer can. So move that mindset across, and that's the hardest bit for me, because I really do want to help organizations from me as an individual, from us as a company. I know I can help them, and I know I can help organizations in the UK become leaders in their delivery of enterprise IT applications. But it takes a long time for me to convince them, because of the scars in the past of tools they've used, advanced, as you call them, advanced technology tools that have failed. And I know what we're doing is very different. That's why in my business we've got that bit right. What is the most rewarding? When a client comes up to us and just says thank you. They shake our hand and said, you took us through the process, and what the commitments you've made, you as a business have over delivered on, and you've allowed us to succeed. And that's for me to return the favour to the CIO who took a leap of faith into me and my organisation is probably the most rewarding part of my job.
Now, you seem to have done obviously coding, and you've been an entrepreneur with setting up your own business. I mean, where do you see yourself going in the future? Have you got any plans long term to maybe set up another business of your own?
I'd love to. I mean, I'm still on the board with some of the music. So the music company succeeded after I left, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they've done very well, and I'm still on the board with them. I've still got some interest there. I think my long term would be to see if I can try once again to blend the gap between IT and entertainment. I think that's definitely the long term objective for me. Because it's where my two passions definitely lie, and one of them I'm good at, one of them I have to prove to myself I'm good at again, which is the entertainment side. So there's definitely a personal goal there for some point in my life to go back into and see if I can bridge the gap.
BCS has a professionalism in IT program, which basically because IT is a relatively new profession, it's only sort of 50, 60 years old, where with doctors and lawyers there's a code of conduct, and if people move out of that code of conduct, they can be disbarred or be in serious trouble. With IT, that doesn't seem to happen. BCS is trying to change that to make practitioners in IT sign up to a voluntary code at the moment. What do you think about professionalism in IT? I mean, do you think that the government needs to get involved and say that there should be a code of conduct there that people, if it's a mandatory code of conduct that people sign up to reduce the number of cowboys in the industry, or do you think that perhaps we should just allow people to have a voluntary code of conduct?
I'd probably need to think about that a bit more. I think I wouldn't be able to make a firm stance on that, but I definitely think a voluntary code would be something that is a no-brainer. I absolutely think we should sign up, and if I could make a suggestion to what should be on there, and that's to be open-minded as IT professionals. I think sometimes as IT professionals, myself included, we think we know what we know because it's worked once before, and we become closed-minded and tunnel-visioned, and we miss opportunity. We cause organisations to fail because we are very stubborn or very. Sometimes there's a bit of an ego in IT to say, well, we know best because we've delivered it before. And my request to anybody, and the only thing I ever say is to be successful in IT, be open-minded to think about doing things differently, because we need to evolve as quickly as the business around us is evolving. But a voluntary code of conduct, I think, is a great idea, something that I would support. Just
a couple of general questions. I mean, what developments in IT technology do you think have been the most exciting in the last few years? I mean, what for you has stood out in the last few years that's come out?
I think the package industry. I think companies like Salesforce, companies like Silverpop, Exact Target, the Workday, the software as a service, I think, has revolutionized the way we work. And I think being able to buy these type of applications allows so many more organizations to get up far more quicker. I think the development even in packaged applications where they're allowing you to do certain, when I say packaged, I'm talking about Oracle, SAP, being able to do so much more, and then being able to customize those applications. So now you're no longer stuck with just these applications. The open APIs, being able to bring data between multiple systems, building layers on top to ensure that you have a single point, a single system for multiple applications you're using. And the fact that it becomes so much quicker and cost effective for organizations to get going with those, I think has been fantastic for both the consumer and both for businesses. There are so many businesses who wouldn't have the funding they had when they started if it wasn't for packaged organizations, or the ability to customize their systems of record, wouldn't be in business today. You just wouldn't have been able to get going as quickly as enough. And now you have a business idea, you can spin it up so much quicker because of the cloud, because of packaged software, and because of applications that allow you to change.
So with so many interesting and exciting innovations within information technology, within technology in general, I mean, why do you think that the industry is still deemed a little bit uncool in some areas? I mean, what can we do to address that kind of state of play?
That's a good question. This came up. We had a breakfast seminar, a CIO dinner, about 6 months ago, and that came up. There's two things about women in IT, which is a problem. There's not enough women who in IT, and also the entry of the number of candidates going into university to do IT. And I think it's a marketing issue, and it's marketing by various communities. So I'm an Indian, we come from an Asian community, and it's very cool to go into IT. So when people find out you're in IT, it's as it's respected as being a doctor, an artist, a lawyer, all of those good things. There are so many, all my cousins, male and female, so many of the younger ladies go into either teaching or IT because they feel it's a balanced job that can allow them to achieve both their personal aspirations and their business aspirations. So my point being is taking some of the learnings of the Asian community. I've got so many people around me when I was younger in IT that I was always like, I look up to that person. He's in IT, he's made a good living for himself, he's given back to business. I think that's very, very important. So taking that learning, I'd say that we need to change that. We need to change that through our local communities. we need to do more fun stuff in IT. We need to show off a little bit more about what IT can deliver from a business perspective, from a entertainment perspective, as opposed to just ones and zeros or bytes, you know, lines of code, because that's the bit that I think makes it sound a little bit geeky, the grey suits and the yeah. So I think understanding that and presenting what type of what IT allows you to achieve, both from a business and a personal perspective, is very, very important. And I think to just say IT is uncool in general is not. I think in the wider in parts of the UK it is, but I think there are communities that still do value or think IT is cool.
I think the curriculum, the IT curriculum at school level has put a lot of girls off in the past because it's been too much focused on using Windows or spreadsheets and stuff. It hasn't really kind of shown what IT can do behind the wall, on the back end. So there hasn't been much emphasis on coding, etc. I mean, would you say that's true?
That's spot on. I'd say I think the curriculum has to be much wider to attract a diverse group of individuals to go into IT. And at the moment, it's very logic. It's very for the maths or the scientists. It's and I think we as again going back to the government or the institutions such as yourselves, we should be the Institute of Chartered IT should be promoting a wider curriculum to allow people to understand there are many different facets of IT that can appeal to many different types of personalities. And at the moment, I do think it's just focused towards the logic, the maths person, and I think we can widen that up. Some of the best coders I knew came from a humanities background. So,
thank you very much, Zahid.
Thank you.